Okay, look, Griff is gonna join us for this one, I think. Look, Griffy, there. There you go. Yeah, okay. You can hang there until you're done. Okay, hello, welcome. This is Books with Asia. I am Asia. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm gonna film a little haul for you all. I'm gonna go over everything that I've bought in the last like 2 or 3 months. All my ebooks that I bought, used and new books, physical books. There is quite the pile sitting right next to me, right over here. This is what BookTube has done to me. Like, I post 2 videos and watch a bajillion hours of other people's content. Now I've like lost all control and I'm going to the used bookstore like every other weekend to get more books. Anyway, let's get into it. We're gonna start off with the ebooks that I've bought. Okay, you gotta go. You're kind of getting in the way, Griffey. I'm sorry. Okay, the first one is a little book called Storm Damaged by Kerry Adrienne. I totally bought this on the cover alone. Like the cover and the fact that it's on the Kobo store for $2.99. This appears to be a standalone new adult romance about a mermaid who leaves her life as a mermaid behind, finds this little island and tries to start a life there. I feel like the cover is so pretty with the colors and the font. Just got me. But yeah, should be a pretty quick read once I get around to it. Okay, my next one is Star of the Morning by Lynn Kurland. Yeah, Star of the Morning is a fantasy romance. It's published in 2006. The synopsis says nothing is as it seems. Like, holy crap. I feel like that phrase is in every synopsis in this sort of era. This, honestly, I think fantasy is like kind of moved past. I mean, this was 12 years ago. So it's a little bit, the synopsis is giving me a little bit like bog standard fantasy. Like, we have a black mage, we have magical swords. It says, now the fate of the 9 kingdoms rests in the hands of a woman destined to wield one of those blades. But honestly, I don't dislike this kind of fantasy, so it's no big deal. I'm just interested in the fantasy romance of it all. Should be pretty good. Next one, which I am currently reading, is The Unbroken by C.L. Clark. I got this on sale as well. This was $4.99. This is a military fantasy. We've got a sapphic relationship. We've got military, we've got politics, we've got rebels, we have revolution, we have all that good stuff. We've got sort of set in like a desert, kind of Middle Eastern inspired setting. I wanted to read this because I'm working on a little vlog of me reading the Sapphic trifecta, which is the Jasmine Throne, the Unbroken, and then She Who Became the Sun. So yeah, like I said, I am actually almost done with this. I'm about 75% in, and it's doing pretty good so far. I'm liking it, and yeah, we can look forward to that vlog being posted eventually. My next one that I bought is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This is a Hades and Persephone style romance where the Persephone character is disguised as a mortal journalist, as the synopsis says, and then the Hades character has built a gambling empire. I would have to assume that means that he owns the casinos. They have a chance encounter, make a bet, and looks like things go on from there. Storygraph has this listed as fiction, erotica, fantasy, romance. So alright, my next one that I bought is Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. Oh, I just love the cover on this one so much. Okay, this is a young adult fantasy. Came out in 2020. This seems to be about a young girl named Tarisai who is raised in isolation and is eventually sent to the capital city in order to compete with other children to become part of the Crown Prince's council, except the lady who raised her compels Tarisai to kill the Crown Prince. So I've heard a lot of good things about this. The cover totally got me. All right, my next one is Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. This looks to be like a fairy romance where the main character is also non-human. Honestly, the synopsis on Storygraph is not really giving me much. But it's a fantasy, it's a romance. I actually put this on my TBR because people on BookTube seem to really like it. Yeah, it looks good. My next one is Summer Suns by Lee Mandelo. Looks like a horror. We've got a little bit of a mystery going on. We have death by suicide. We've got some academia, perhaps. This was another one that I had just heard of on BookTube and thought it sounded good, so I popped it on the old TBR. Okay, and my next one is Elizabeth Lim's oh man, this is it's a tongue twister. 6 Crimson Cranes. The cover of this book, not that, like, I think it's the UK edition, the pink one. Yeah, the red cover, not the pink one. I will put them up on the screen to show the difference of what I'm talking about. I cannot get over that cover. And as soon as I heard about this book and saw that incredible cover, I was like, oh, this is going on the TBR. I don't even care. I don't even care. I am really looking forward to reading this. I don't even know what it's about right now. I guess I can pull it up and read the synopsis. Okay, we've got a princess with forbidden magic. We've got a stepmother who puts the main character under a curse. Oh wow, it has like a 4.29 on Storygraph. That's actually very impressive. Yeah, it looks gorge. Again, this freaking cover, I cannot, the font, the contrast of the black hair and the white cranes and the red on their head. Oh, I need to figure out who did this art. Okay, next up we have Malice by Heather Walter. This looks like a Sleeping Beauty retelling, actually. Oh, maybe from like the Maleficent character's perspective. It looks sapphic. I think I picked this recommendation up from, oh my gosh, there was one day a couple weeks ago where all I did was watch LGBT book recommendation videos from booktubers, and I probably added like 30 books to my TBR that day, and this was one of them. This is a duology. Yeah, looks good. Okay, our next one is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Adieh. Adieh. Actually, you know what? Let me look it up, because I hate when people just say that they don't know how to pronounce something and you can just look it up. I mean, it's not always easy to look up. Hold on. Okay, let's see. Google's gonna tell us.
Renee Adieh.
Renee Adieh. Okay, yeah. Okay, The Wrath and the Dawn. This is a young adult romance, looks like. Looks like it's inspired by 1001 Nights. We have a boy king who takes a new bride every night and kills her by morning. We have Scheherazade, who volunteers to be the boy king's next wife, but she goes into it with a plan to figure out what happens to all these girls and presumably figure out how to stop it. And of course, nothing is as it seems. Yeah, the cover of this one is also gorge. Not the purple one that just has text, but there's a red one here that Storygraph is using that I'll put up on the screen that is so pretty, and I bet it looks so good on a hardcover. It's probably the kind where the dust jacket has like holes in it and there's artwork on the like boards of the book binding. Anyway, yeah. I've got that in my library now. Okay, my next one that I bought is The Jasmine Throne, which I have already read. It very conveniently went on sale right after I had finished listening to the audiobook from my library. When I finished it, I rated that book very highly, by the way. I talked all about it in my March TBR, and I'm going to talk about it in this like sapphic trifecta vlog. And as soon as I finished it, I wanted to reread it, but my library hold was already up by the time that I finished it. I think I finished it with like a day to spare. So I couldn't just reread it right away. I'm also not letting myself just reread it right away. I have to exercise a little bit of control. This is all about Priya, who is a maidservant who comes from a sort of a secret magical practice, and also about Malini, who is a exiled princess who is looking to dethrone her own brother. Like I said, I already read this. This book is absolutely outstanding. I am so glad that I caught it on sale, and yeah, I really look forward to reading the text after having read the audiobook. Okay, next up we have another fantasy romance. This is Snowspelled by Stephanie Burgis. This looks to be like another pretty cute and wholesome fantasy romance. Looks like in a world where our main character is the only woman magician. Oh, it's a novella. Neat. I should like actually learn about things before I spend money on them. In 19th century England. It looks wintry, looks wholesome, looks cute. It's a novella. It's gonna be a quick and easy read. Okay, everybody. I have two piles here. I have a few writing craft books. I have a couple poetry, and I have one nonfiction that I will talk about here. And then I have a whole stack of novels of fiction. So let's get into the nonfiction stuff first. Okay, here we have The Last Draft by Sandra Scofield. I bought this because this is the stage that I'm at with my like main project story, and I am very invested in learning how to edit. It says it's a wise and friendly guide. How nice is that? It's about the right size for a writing craft book. I'm really hoping that this will give me some good insights into editing. Now we have Francine Prose, Reading Like a Writer. A guide for people who love books and for those who want to write them. I mean, that's me. Yeah, this one comes highly recommended from a lot of people, and it looks like it has an award. But yeah, again, looking forward to it. Okay, 2 more craft books. I have James Scott Bell, Write Your Novel from the Middle. This one comes very often recommended on the writing server that I'm a part of. And this one, look at that. That is tiny. I am always looking out for new ways to think of story structure. Got that one. I'm sure that was probably like $5 from bookshop.org. Okay, now this one is a little bit thicker. We have Story Trump Structure by Donald Maas. That writing Discord server that I am a part of regularly goes over a writing craft book, like in sort of a book club sort of situation, and this might be the current one that they're doing or the last one that they did. So I bought it to sort of follow along with that. Now we have 78 Degrees of Wisdom. This is a tarot book. I do like tarot cards. I have, I think, 5 or 6 decks, but it looks really nice, actually. I am looking forward to using this when I read my tarot cards. Okay, this is from the used bookstore. This was just a totally random grab from the poetry section. This is Susan Mitchell's Eroticon Poems. This is a hardback poetry book, which is kind of rare, I feel like. I know nothing about this. I think I picked it up based on the subject matter alone. I don't even think I opened it to read any of the poems before I grabbed it. I mean, it was $4, and it'll be a quick read because it's poetry, so. Okay, speaking of poetry, I also got from the used bookstore Dante's Inferno. Except this calls it the portable Dante. A nice lightweight, like carryable version of the Inferno. And I was delighted to see that it has already been annotated and written in by somebody else. See, we got some more notes over here. The Inferno is one of those books that I think I had a copy when I was a teenager, and I always wanted to read it, but I think like something about it, like maybe it was me just being a teenager, but like I just never got around to reading it, and I'm sure I got rid of that copy like ages ago. And I also want to try to get into annotating. I felt like classics and poetry were a really good place to start annotating. Okay, fiction. Used bookstore find. We have 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I understand Marquez to sort of be the, maybe not the father of magical realism, but definitely one of the biggest authors of magical realism. And like I just said, I want to get into annotating, and used books are perfect for that. So even if I don't end up liking this, it's not gonna be a pain to carry around. It's gonna be fun to annotate and stuff like that. So next one, we have Soulless by Gail Carriger. This one has been on my TBR for a little while, so I was kind of keeping an eye out for it at the used bookstore because I saw one of the other books in this series on the shelf there, and the last time I went there, it was there. Seems like it's gonna be a fun read. In Soulless we have, let's see, it seems like it will be sort of funny, like witty and clever, but beyond that, I don't really know like what tropes are covered here or any of that. We have vampires. Yeah, it looks Victorian. Our main character has no soul, according to the back. The author bio is pretty funny. Gail Carriger writes to cope with being raised in obscurity by an expatriate Brit and an incurable curmudgeon, and so on. All right, another used bookstore find. We have Robin McKinley's Sunshine. This might have been wrecked to me as a fantasy romance. Again, don't really know much about it. Looks sort of like it might be like an urban fantasy with vampires. My next one, this was a pretty lucky find, I think. This is Bethany C. Morrow's A Song Below Water. This is another one that's been on my TBR for a little while, and I was so excited to see it at the used bookstore in hardcover with the dust jacket. I mean, we got a little bit of damage right here, but that's no big deal to me. And when I opened it, I think it is signed by the author. Is this what they call a book plate? I think it's like a sticker in there that is signed. The signature itself looks like it starts with a B, but it also looks like, maybe now that I'm looking at it, it looks like maybe the author like started to sign it and then didn't finish the signature. Like it looks like a B-E and then like the downstroke of a T. I could be totally wrong on that. I really don't know. Let's see, what is this book about? This is a YA. Ooh, it's set in Portland. That's cool. We've got sirens, we've got demons, we've got sisterhood. This looks really good. I am really looking forward to reading this one. That is definitely a score. Okay, tonal shifts. We have Cormac McCarthy's Child of God. I have heard that this book is very fucked up. I got this recommended to me because I was asking for negative arcs, basically books where the characters end up worse than they started. It is one of my favorite things in fiction. The example that honestly got me into it is the manga Land of the Lustrous. That is a fantasy, but this, I guess, is, maybe it's like a contemporary or at least historical. It's way shorter than I thought it would be. Look at that. Yeah, should be an interesting read. I hear it is very graphic and gross and gets into some really nasty stuff. So we shall see. This one I bought new from my local bookstore. This is Becky Chambers, A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. I hear a ton of praise for Becky Chambers, and I actually read To Be Taught If Fortunate last year, and that book got a 5-star out of me. That book made me cry like a baby. I hear a ton of good things about it. Like, we've got cozy sci-fi, we've got found family, we've got queer rep, and we already know Becky Chambers is incredible. Yeah, I am really looking forward to this. All right, next. This is my 5th season, I can't hold it, paperback box set. Let's get these out so I can show them off properly. I talked about the 5th season in my March wrap up, and this book has me by the neck. Like, it is so incredibly outstanding in so very many ways. I am so excited about these. What websites do you all use to buy books? Like, I know I don't have a Barnes & Noble anywhere near me. I think my nearest one, I'm almost afraid to say that my nearest Barnes & Noble is over 2 hours away. In this tangent of a tangent, who remembers Borders? That was my bookstore. Nothing but respect for my bookstore. I end up buying a lot of stuff online, so let me know what kind of what websites you all use to get your book, because I know about bookshop.org and I know about thrift books, and I think I heard somebody talking about Pango books, but I have not looked in depth at Pango books yet. Yeah, let me know. Okay, my final book for this haul, you guys, is Hanya Yanagihara to Paradise. I was having a little bit of a Hanya Yanagihara moment when I was reading A Little Life. This was absolutely an impulse buy. I really loved A Little Life. I can be pretty confident that it might share a theme or two, but this is not going to be anything like A Little Life. I mean, the cover is beautiful. The gold and teal, I really love it. I don't know when I plan on starting this. It's obviously very intimidating, but I do want to read it eventually. I guess in this we follow 3 POVs, 3 timelines, 3 separate locations. It's like, in short, 3 separate stories in one. And that does interest me. It makes me curious to see how they come together. So we'll see. Okay, thank you all so very much for joining me for this haul. It's a lot of fun. I am so excited to start reading some of these books and like getting into annotating and stuff like that. I think annotating is gonna be so much fun. If you hit me with a subscribe, I would appreciate it so very much. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.